Hello there everyone and welcome to Corey Loses, where today we are playing Thrawn's Revenge 3.0, a new preview playthrough for the channel as the Empire of the Hand. So this is technically our second preview playthrough for 3.0. However, it's the first one that we've really started to get any real progress in some of the main features that we're working on, so you'll see a fair bit of that. But do keep in mind while you're watching that this is a preview playthrough, so a lot of stuff is going to be changing over the course of development. You're going to see a lot of kind of bare bones versions of stuff for this, and then as we kind of progress through different playthroughs, we'll probably have a New Republic one actually starting soon. You'll see more of that fleshed out. So I'll probably talk about some stuff that is in the midst of being implemented, but is not fully implemented yet. So we are playing the Empire of the Hand, like I said, and there have been some significant changes to their space roster so far. So let's get into the game, and I'll talk about those as we go. We are playing in Art of War, so we're going to start with Era 1, get everyone in on the action, and we'll see how many eras we work our way up through. We are loading into the map. You can see we've rearranged the little buttons a bit. The government tab used to be right here and be the same size as some of these other info tabs, but that ended up being less obvious for some players for something that's so important. The Empire of the Hand government stuff isn't implemented just yet, but we'll probably talk about some of the plans for that as we go. So, we are here as the Empire of the Hand. There was a video on the channel about a week ago, which I'll probably put a link to in the description, where the first bits of the Empire of the Hand's
building started.
Redesign for space were shown off, where we have these new Chiss designs. So this is the new Fruro. But as you can also see, we've started to implement the Chiss Ascendancy onto the map as well. Right now they just have Chilla and Krustai. A lot of these hyperspace routes are going to have to be reorganized a bit. Pesfavri and the Redoubt are also going to be theirs, but we are allied with them, so we can just pass through their territory. They're just going to sit there inactive right now, because they are still in the earliest phases of being implemented. But there will be a lot of changes to this kind of region of space to make the Empire of the Hand a bit more interesting to play as early on, especially. But one of the things that I do in these playthroughs is for people who are Twitch subs, channel members on YouTube, or Patreon supporters, they're all able to pick and name a ship for the playthrough, which is just for the playthroughs. It's not something that gets released with the mod. It's just a way for me to thank the people who support the channel in that way for their support. And I basically use those ships in battle. We're also doing a community challenge where that happens, but I only get those. So usually it's a fun way to kind of get people in on what's going on. And you can see those ships on the build bar here. But yeah, so one of the main things that you'll notice as we turn on these filters is that the UI around the planets has changed a little bit. The way shipyards now work is instead of upgrading through the different shipyard levels, each planet is only capable of building one shipyard level, which is its highest level, which still allows you to build the ships from the lower levels, as you can see here on Nero 1, where we have a level 3 shipyard. We have even the lower level ships, so that all stays accessible. But instead, the basic former shipyard slot or space station slot in the base game, we have changed into orbital defense strength indicators. So the way it works is basically the game can't see the individual strength of the defensive structures you build. So used to be when you're building Visvias and Odos or Golans, which people are probably more familiar with, that the game wouldn't know what was there. So when the AI is making an attack, they'd just send enough forces to take out the shipyard, and that was it. If you only had a shipyard and a bunch of stations there, because they can't evaluate that from the galactic level. So we decided that the cleanest way and least problematic way for us to handle that would be to essentially make what was the space station a non-structure So the game sort of just takes the overall combat power that makes up the orbital defenses, gets a total number for that, and whatever power range that falls within, it spawns an indicator for that. So if you have like a bunch of Golans and a Laduja, you'd get up to 4 or 5, level 4 or 5 with that, and then the AI would know, okay, if I'm assaulting this, I have to account not just for units, but also for really strong orbital defenses. And it also means you can no longer just jump in, destroy the station, the shipyard rather, and leave, and then have them rebuild it and then not have to deal with the actual orbital defenses. One downside to this right now is that the way we're currently displaying it, it'll show the shipyard level regardless of whether there's actually a shipyard built. So we could, depending on how weird that ends up being for people, we might end up moving to doing like a particle-based display. As you can see, Yaga Minor doesn't have a shipyard right now. But anyways, the really cool things to look at for this playthrough, we have... let's bring in Grand Admiral Thrawn, but we have our new ship designs. We have the new design for the Syndic right here, so let's bring that in. And here's Thrawn and his normal ISD. Aralani, you can come in right there. And our furrows. Then we'll bring in yours as well.
Closing on target.
So right now there's still some stuff being finished with the new shipyard and display methods, where we haven't done the faction-based variants of the shipyards yet, so they won't spawn their garrison forces yet. Those haven't been removed. There might be some changes in how they work coming up, but they will still be there. It's just part of the fact that this is, again, a preview playthrough, so there will be a lot of in-progress stuff that you see. Kind of like that. Alright, not a bad start for us. I'm kind of just trying to prod into the Pentastar Alignment's territory right now, because they get kind of powerful, and I don't want them coming to immediately murder us. Oh, that is my bad. But yeah, so I'll just turn that off for you guys. But the one of the other things you'll notice is, of course, the resources tab. This won't factor into our current playthrough too much. It'll probably reduce our influence, but this is stuff that's being worked on right now, where it really ties into influence in some other game mechanics. Where you can see we have fighter pilots as a resource, so spamming quasars or spamming carriers will require a little bit more forethought.
Constructing.
But we will, again, that'll factor more into future playthroughs. We're going to have some news posts specifically about how all that's going to work. Because we are significantly reworking the galactic economy and everything that goes along with that. But we should start building some of our patron ships here. So we're going to start off with Phalanx My Tractor's section. Get our first phalanx in. Alright, we got our statistics display. And I guess it'd be a good idea to start looking for some places to put some mines. We've got a pilot academy that we're building on Nirowan, which should supply us pretty decently with pilot training. We're going to go to Pesfavri and drop it on that. But yeah, so the Empire of the Hand government mechanics will tie in a fair bit to the Chiss Ascendancy and the fact that you are allied. So that'll be a thing. We're still working on how exactly we're going to make the allying work. Because there's a few ways to do it. Some have some problems that need to be solved. If they don't work, then we're going to go back to the way that we do it in Fall of the Republic with the CIS sub-factions if we need to. But we want to try doing it with the built-in allied and enemy tags for Empire at War, because those are a thing. They're just some bugs that come along with them that we need to get some workarounds for.
Planetary control achieved.
Building under construction.
It will mean for now that we technically can't win because Krustai and Chilla we won't be able to take, and the redoubt is not accessible at the moment. But we'll be able to take everything else. So
Tactical battle imminent.
uh-oh. Alright, they don't have an interdictor here anymore, so I'm probably just going to run. Because I don't want to risk our only main fleet and the ground units here. Once we're a bit more established, I am going to turn on Cruel as well. Which is, for those who may not have played the mod... I think we might be able to take this, actually. But for those who may not have played the mod as much, there is an extra set of AI options called Cruel AI, where the AI gets some extra modifiers, gets some like extra bonuses to their income and build speed and stuff to kind of bring it more in line with what some other mods have for their default AI, where it's more bonus based. Because if you're playing on regular AI in the mod, it's relatively close to the capabilities of what the player can do in terms of like resource income and money income. If you're on normal, it's within like 5%. If you're on easy, they're making far less money than you and building far slower than you. And if you're on hard, I think it's like 1.5 times credits. But Cruel AI bumps that up even higher. Alright, we are going to pull you guys onto there. And especially with Thrawn's bonus, this could be a really good opportunity for us.
Of course. Ready for battle. Awaiting your orders.
Alright, ground units, get over there.
Get behind them.
I got one. For the Empire.
Locking on.
Do you have something to report?
I have them now.
I see. Awaiting your command.
I want to make sure none of them just fucking runs into the Praetor. That would be
Go after
bad.
the stragglers. Roger that. Targeting the laser systems.
Alright.
Your command, sir.
One of the advantages that the Empire of the Hand does have in general, though, is that their ships are really fast. So we should be able to kite around it a little bit better. Not with Thrawn and Nears necessarily, but...
For another attack.
I'm on them.
Shit.
Our
Primary engine system is down.
Because the ISD is just going to be an ISD.
Eliminating target.
Commencing attack run. Target locked.
Alright, you guys back off there.
Got them in my sights. I got What is it you want?
Locking on.
Coming back around for another run. There, I've detected.
Alright,
A lock.
see if we can...
Awaiting orders.
Come on. Don't EAW this on me.
Bomber squad intercepting.
Here, just go straight off that way.
Enemies in
Ready
range.
for the kill.
I'm on them.
You have need of my skills?
Holding fire for maximum
Target
effect.
locked.
Our primary engine system is down.
Commander, engaging the enemy.
Ready.
Our launch bay
Eliminating
is destroyed.
target.
I already
Alright,
have
Thrawn, keep going. Everyone else, get in.
They've destroyed our ion cannons.
It seems like it's switching its targets. So Thrawn and Nears are going to get low, but I think we're actually going to be able to start popping some of these frontal hard points soon.
Get behind them.
Reporting in.
I have them now.
Our target
I'm on
priority
them.
is the laser cannons.
Target locked.
Okay.
I have calculated the possibilities.
Our launch bay has
The
been
lasers
destroyed.
are our target.
Coming around.
There we go. And now it's switched targets onto
I got one. Form up.
healthier things. Here, you're going to take out the engines. And we're going to keep just going front to back on this one.
Our target priority is the laser cannons.
Alright. Bombers,
The primary
get on in.
is the ion cannons. They're coming in quick.
Copied.
Alright. I think this went about as well as it could have for taking on this Praetor right now. Because that really will hurt the Pentastar alignment's ability to expand early.
Setting up my run, sir.
And by expand early, I mean invade us. Alright. But there are actually a few models that'll be updated as we go through this playthrough. There is one new ship that's going to be added during the playthrough, the Syzygus, which is a kind of anti-fighter corvette that's just designed, so it's this kind of style. That'll be showing up very soon, and Acertzel is also working on some other Chiss ships that are like strictly Chiss Ascendancy. So those will be probably finished in the course of the playthrough, but probably won't really show up in this, not until maybe a Chiss preview playthrough. But Endcar is also working on the updates for things like the Ascendancy and the Imperial-based ships, so you'll see some of the direction we're going with that. I think that the Ascendancy Star Destroyer, which is this one, and the Chaff, which is a slightly smaller one, as well as the Ormos, will probably all be finished in the course of this playthrough. And when they are, I'll start pulling in those models and stuff. But we did lose a Kynagos. I'm okay with that. We almost have that phalanx done. We don't have much money. We're going to want to go for Carriex soon, but it'll be... Carriex not going anywhere. It's a planet.
Invasion commencing.
Let's go into Yaga Minor, get ourselves another shipyard, deprive the PA of one, and then we'll probably not worry too much about the Pentastar alignment immediately. I'd like to kind of go south and establish
Reporting.
some sort of choke point with the New Republic.
Moving out. Awaiting orders.
Choose your reinforcements.
Course plus.
I think the Empire of the Hand field bases still need a little bit of work. They still have some bugs, but
Reinforcements en
we
route.
will see how we do.
All weapons loaded. T4P mobile. Moving into position.
Their ground units as a whole are still going to be updated,
Ready. Target acquired.
where we're going to do full redesigns of them.
Yes, sir.
Some of the basic ideas of what they are still going to stay there, like the Mega Mazer tank is
Roger.
going to more or less stay similar. We might add some like lighter weaponry on it as well, but
Weapons armed.
We've lost a build pad.
Destination
get up
set.
there,
Tank brigade here. Reporting. On my way.
get up there, and
Roger
we're
that.
going to go up this path
Advancing.
to get the sensor array. One of the things I did that I talked about a bit in our CIS playthrough a few weeks back
Proceeding.
is... Ooh, we need more of our infantry up here.
Awaiting orders.
Is going through all the maps, the ground maps, and switching them out, or not switching all of them, but evaluating all of them to kind of see which we wanted to keep or not. Because there were a lot that were very old, weren't very good. Like a big part of our ground reworks as a whole will kind of factor into maps. Maps are one of the main things that impacts quality ground combat in Empire at War. And it's something that I think the base game did better than a lot of mods did for a long time. Because like
Order acknowledged.
a lot of mods, including and especially us, went towards these gigantic maps that take forever to get across, and there's not really much interesting happening on them.
Yes, Commander.
So we want to make the maps feel
Air station.
more alive, but also
Order, sir.
not take forever to slog through, so that the different areas kind of
Moving to attack.
factor in a bit more to what you're doing.
Construction complete.
Commence assault. Reporting. There they are. Blast them.
Alright. Let's blow these guys up.
Your weapon.
Sensor array.
I copy. I copy. Underway.
Here. Mega Major tanks get up there. TAS fall back to the repair structure. And one of the things we've kind of done to buff ground, or to improve ground, is kind of buff some ground defenses that make it a bit less reliable to just sit back and bombing run or over the bombardment. It was something we didn't want to do until we had ground in a somewhat better position, especially with the maps, to make sure that it didn't become a slog. But part of making sure the gameplay actually improves is making sure that it's not pretty much fully determined by a mechanic that is uninteractive. Because, like, as a defender, you either have the shield or you don't. So we wanted to have some limitations to what you can do with them, or some more defined use cases for that kind of ground-based super weapon, or space-based, space-to-ground super weapon.
Roger that. Commencing attack.
So we'll probably see and use a lot more of the turbo laser and shield combined defenses, which is now one
Your reinforcements. At maximum unit capacity.
one object. You don't buy them separately, so it feels a bit less bad to purchase those things now.
Reporting as you wish.
Tank brigade here.
Unit destroyed.
Copy. Open fire. Moving up.
Unit destroyed.
Heading out.
Alright, get away.
All out troops. Attack that target.
Yes, sir.
And
Targeting.
kill the infantry.
Roger that.
There have been and are still being some pretty significant infantry reworks that are going through. A lot of them were
Attacking target.
mostly done in Fall of the Republic so far,
Transport
but partially to kind of just make it more clear what's doing what. So some extra indicators around the infantry, kind of showing their role, but there's also some more diverse roles within the infantry. Okay, let's blow you up.
ready.
I copy. Fire at will.
Juggernaut ready. Right away. Copy that.
Which there always have been to some extent, but it was also not super obvious because...
Attacking.
nope, hit those.
Targeting.
I realize that there's the repair platform there, but
Ready.
Yes, sir.
yeah, it wasn't always super obvious that, like, the New Republic infantry, for example, had grenades and stuff. So they had really good upfront damage compared to a lot of other stuff. But now a lot more of that information should be available. And we're also working on a website update, which will have, like, full unit stats, full faction information, and will also be accessible as an app. So
Commence assault.
hopefully that won't take too long.
T4
But
beyond.
Pox has done a lot of work to set that up, and it's really fucking cool.
Ready for attack.
Bombing run available.
Awaiting
Alright, I'm
orders.
gonna bomb that, even though it doesn't really matter,
Moving
just for
into
kicks.
position. Right away, sir. Underway. Almost there.
We are victorious.
Alright, Yaga Minor is ours. Now we just gotta hope we don't get immediately attacked.
System conquered.
Because let's see how this connects. Like, if we can get to Endor, then I'm happy. That's kind of what our goal is gonna be. So we're gonna wait for that phalanx.
Underway.
I'm gonna pull our ground units back.
Right away, sir.
Because we can retreat if we need to, but the ground stuff won't be able to get away. And with this extra money next week, we'll have the ability to build this and a couple more mines, I think. Let's grab that.
Constructing.
Alright.
Heavy destroyer stands ready.
So we'll drop you in, and let's go... Let's go to Bakura. Because I think they just took Bakura from the independent forces. Make it a little bit easier for us to grab.
Complete. Construction.
But really I just want to stop them from being able to come in and take Krustai from the Chiss, which it looks like they did. Yes, they are taking Krustai from the Chiss. Well, so it's kind of annoying in Empire at War because non-playable factions just kind of automatically lose auto-resolves. So... or they get automatically wiped in auto-resolves. The AI is only going to attack even an independent forces thing when they feel like they have the actual strength to do so. But we are going to get... I guess we'll get indefatigable for now, and we're starting to build up some more credits there. Who controls you? Pentastar Alignment has it, so they must have taken it back or something.
Construction complete.
And I'm gonna move over here.
Receiving location.
Construction complete.
Oh no, they didn't lose. They didn't get wiped. Cool. Unless no, they moved. They moved from here to here to defend. They can't build anything right now, but unfortunately, one of the downsides, one of the things that introduced the bug was with actually trying to use the quote-unquote proper alliance system in Empire War, is that the... well, first let's build long-range shooting way. But you'd kind of expect that you'd be able to, say, drop this fleet on Chilla and leave it there, and then if it gets attacked, then you'd have this cool three-way battle. But unfortunately, the game doesn't work that way. It'll just instance one battle and then kind of sit there, and that's annoying, but it's just how the game works. So we have to make it so that if you were to drop, for example, this fleet over here, then this fleet would either get donated to the Chiss as your allies, or it would just kind of bounce back to another planet you own. And kind of the ideal situation there, I think, would be if the player was able to choose, like, set a policy for it, either to donate or to bounce. But that would kind of be something to figure out after we make sure we're able to detect it properly. That's really the big problem, is figuring out when and how to detect whether there's allied units on a planet. Because if you drop stuff on ground for that, then it actually just crashes the game, and it's not great. But we do have Phalanx, my tractor's sexy. Cynic Destroyer. I think that it might not be supposed to have Phalanx in that. There's a Macaria and the Chaff, which we were talking about earlier.
Taking fire. Locking on.
Unfortunately, like, our units are not very tanky,
Enemies in range.
and I just fucking wasted that one.
Commander, they're hitting us. Where'd he go? Nowhere to run.
Alright,
Falling out of formation.
I'm retreating.
Draw their fire.
I forget if this had targetable engines or not.
Formation.
I don't think it did, because the Syndic currently doesn't. But I might have just fucking thrown away 5,000 or 7,500 credits. Yeah, I just fucking threw it away. That was just a bad decision. Alright, with that bad decision, I think we're going to leave this episode here for now. So thank you for watching, everyone. We are going to be back on, I think, Saturday with the second episode of this. And then on Monday next week, I'm going to be recording the next couple episodes on twitch.tv/CoreyLoses. So for a lot of these playthroughs, I do the recordings live on Monday or Tuesday, and then the episodes go out on YouTube individually. But hope you guys are looking forward to the playthrough and all the stuff that we have coming up in Thrawn's Revenge and Fall of the Republic. If you would like to get a patronship in the playthrough, you can check out the link in the description that has all the information on how it works. But thanks again for watching. Hope to see you next time. Bye, everyone.